guys, welcome to Superhero Sundays. I'm Eli.
I'm Matthew.
And today is something really, really special. We have our very first special guest with us, and you may know him as Pete Ross. Joey Cranford is here with us.
Joey.
It's so exciting. Before he comes on screen, let me show you the intro. Look at this. I worked hard on this. I did all the editing myself. Here you go.
Looking for Pete Ross. Do you know him?
Yeah, he works at the IHOP.
Pete Ross?
Oh, I need a ride back to the house. I forgot my checkbook to pay the funeral director.
They said it's all taken care of.
By whom?
Anonymous donor.
Hey, Joey, welcome to the show, man.
And that's my reel. Thanks, everybody. Yes, I am the Easter egg in the Batman vs. Superman director's cut.
But man, it's so fantastic to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yeah, this is great. I'm so excited to talk. We're going to talk about your experience on Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Better Call Saul,
Yep.
Chicago Fire. There's just so much to get into.
Absolutely.
And let's get into it.
Heck yeah. Where do you want to start off?
Let's start off with WandaVision.
WandaVision. Did you see the finale?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we watched it last night. We've been watching it weekly as it comes out.
First impressions. What did you think of it?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
You know, as you can tell, I'm more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy.
That's totally okay.
Yeah.
But I do have a little Marvel shelf back there. But yeah, I thought it was really fun. You know, watching it, I was just like, oh my God, they're doing House of M. You know,
Right.
which is as close as you've ever really seen House of M on television. You know, which
Sure.
is really amazing. I thought the production value was just unbelievable. You know, and then her coming out as like Scarlet Witch, like. I thought it was a little weird, a little ham-fisted with that makes you a Scarlet Witch. You know, it's like we get it. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. You know, I'm a little worried, like what happened to the witch who's now the nosy neighbor? Like, where does she live? I thought everything was gonna like collapse on just her.
Right.
You know. And she's just like, she's the only one left within like the matrix of the WandaVision, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, it was interesting. I felt like there was a lot of plot holes in this episode. It was visually stunning, but it just left so many questions. And I don't know why Vision gets all his memories back, but he doesn't have the humanity of the actual Vision. So he just runs away and he doesn't help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seems...
Blanco Vision just kind of like disappears.
Yeah.
You know, like White Vision is just like.
No.
I was waiting for him to be like, "Come to the house. I want to show you something."
Exactly.
You know, I've met a friend. Like,
right.
You're gonna love him. He's me.
The only justification I could think of why he just disappeared like that is because they said, or at least he said, that his direct drive was to destroy the Vision. But then once he realized he was Vision, he's basically a living paradox, and he probably just had to separate himself because he genuinely didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And all that commotion around. So I'm like, that could be a reason, but at the same time, I mean, he just dipped.
Yeah,
he was like,
he just-
I'm Vision. Adios. You know, he was out of there.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
But overall, what did you think of it? What a rating out of 1 out of 10?
Oh, yeah, I'd give it like a good 8, like 9. I enjoyed it. I really did. I think you know, we can kind of talk about the movies of DC versus the TV of DC and how Marvel has their movies and TV versions, where I think DC does really well on the small screen, and Marvel does amazingly well, obviously, at the large screen. I think, you know, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like their first foray to telling the story on television. to kind of like fill in like the gaps between all the movies. I honestly kind of lost the thread of that show because I was like, I don't want a police procedural, get, in between the Marvels, but I understand like that's how they would kind of fill in the gaps between their movies. They didn't really have like as much success with their television, but I thought this was really great and a lot of fun and like super budget, like.
Yeah,
incredible budget.
What do you think about Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. no longer being canon?
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was expected, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, like they're gonna eventually just take off on their own and create their own story arcs until eventually, like, because there's so much that you would make into that show. Like, there's no way that they could take all the content and make sure that it all fits back in to the movies, because the movies have their own kind of vision.
For sure.
Right. Yeah, I found this meme. This is how I felt. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe did Marvel do this to us, where we just like they laid so many Easter eggs?
So many Easter eggs.
I felt a little disappointed.
And they can't deny that they trolled us, because I went back and we had talked about the Grim Reaper mask in the floorboards. That's in there. Like, we see that clear as day. There's clear Mephisto references. There's clear Nightmare references. But I have to say, as much as I love this episode, because it was my fault that I got disappointed. I was too hyped up. I got all these crazy theories. But even though that I felt that the payoff was a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be, it's still a pretty good story, because the story's about grief.
Yeah.
It's about introducing Scarlet Witch as an actual character. That was the purpose of this whole thing, is to make purpose. Oh, yeah, she is Scarlet Witch, but how did she even become Scarlet Witch? So we need to come up with a smooth reason how she found a way to... I loved it. I love that Agnes... I love that Scarlet Witch is a legend. And they just pulled out, I know who you are. And she's like, I'm not a witch. No, you're a witch. And you're the witch.
I kind of wanted more of an answer of why she was there. We know that she came from, the old days, but we don't really know.
She wanted the power. She found her and she wanted the power.
Right.
How? She can smell that power, and she's like, I'm in. I want that. Whatever you've got, I want it,
Yeah.
The thing that, I think it was last episode we talked about, I thought that Agnes was sent by Doctor Strange, because if Agnes could have sensed this magic, 100% Doctor Strange did, but it was weird that he just didn't show up. So I thought that he sent her, like, in his place, to, like, while he was off doing something. But maybe she has no ties to him, because she seemed like an independent...
Oh, I definitely think there's ties.
Well, I mean, there is ties, but I don't know if they have a relationship.
I don't think they've ever met on screen, have they?
No, not yet.
Do you think Doctor Strange should have showed up in the finale, or do you think that would have wrecked it?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been... Of course, that would have been a launching off to, like, oh, so we're going to see a movie about this now,
Right.
I mean, I don't think they had the budget to bring in Bender Snatch. What's his name?
Oh, you're right.
Cumbersome name.
Cumberbatch.
Benedict Cumbersome name, I think is his name.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they were telling a story of, like you said earlier, of loss and grief and love, and to put in another superstar to tie it all in. I was super happy to see a Skrull. I was like, yes, like that's awesome. I was like, bringing in a Skrull, because I've been waiting for. I've seen on the like larger plot the Secret Invasion stuff that's coming down the pipeline. So
yes.
That's really cool. I was thinking that Nick Fury was going to show up in that last scene. I thought they were like, someone wants to meet you in the movie theater, and you go in there, and it's just like Nick Fury going, we got you. You screwed up. We got it. But are you good? Are you villain? What
Right.
Just
right.
having that moment with Nick Fury. But they say they're kind of saying like that's who's up there. Nick Fury is the one that you're gonna go see up there. But
and if you see the end of the the tag scene from Captain Marvel, you know, he's up on the ship, Nick Fury,
Yeah.
right? And so apparently that's Sword. Now we know that's Sword headquarters. So that's going to be interesting to see and how that plays out.
No, that was really cool.
But yeah, I think you're right. An 8, maybe a 7.5 for me.
Yeah,
Well, if you're following the Easter eggs and they didn't kind of ring true for you, but you know, I think the Easter eggs are just there for the super fans to go, see, they know what's up, you know.
Yeah, because like they clearly do, but to not put any of them in. I mean, even the Quicksilver was a total.
Do you think that was underplayed, or do you think
Quicksilver is Ralph?
Yeah.
I had to like the third time I watched it, I realized that he was Ralph, and I have to be honest, I was like, really, that he was like, I was like, all right, I'll let it slide, but you know, yeah, still, yeah, I'd give it. I mean, it's the finale, so I gotta give it like an 8.
An 8?
You know? What was the best episode? Probably like 8. Episode 8, I think, was the best, if not the first 2.
They were so quick. It was so weird. It was like they were 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they got longer.
I did the math on it. Like, if you, I'm waiting for the supercut of the 80-minute credits. Like, I just want someone to put together 80 minutes of credits, because if you take each episode was like over and was like so quick, it was like it said it was 32 minutes, but then like 10 more minutes left of just solid credits.
Yeah.
Every episode just buried with 10 minutes of credits. Just crazy.
Yeah, they get you. Marvel knows how to get you hard.
Oh yeah. They hook, line, and sinker, right?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh yeah. Let's move on now. Let's talk about your time with Superman.
Love it.
Yeah, so tell us about the getting casted and all that, and Man of Steel and all that.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot to go through. So you know, you move to Chicago to be an actor, and you get your agent, and you're finally waiting, you know, and you get your callbacks, and you get this and you get that, and it's 3 years of nothing. You know, and that's just the life of a true, like, that's it. You go and you audition and you don't get it. You go and you audition and you don't get it. You keep doing that. You keep taking on-camera acting courses. You keep just trying to make your agents happy. You keep trying to meet your casting directors, and then you actually get a callback for something that's like kind of a fluke. You know, it's weird. I went into this audition. And it was just another film audition, but this one was called the Untitled Warner Brothers Project. And there was rumor that Superman was going to be taping. We all knew that Superman was Warner Brothers, but we didn't really know, you know, I mean, it could have been anything.
Right.
And so there was a lot of secrecy around what this project was. Even the agents were like, yeah, all we're calling it is Untitled. And so when I went to the audition, it was the weirdest thing. It was nothing but redheads, just a bunch of gingers in the casting room. It was like,
God.
I was like looking around, and I was like, okay, I know some of you. Is this like a big like secret ginger beatdown moment? Like, what's gonna happen here? You know? And we went in to read, and I had this great monologue. It was talking to an intrepid reporter. And it was
so they
about
gave you a monologue to read?
Yeah.
You didn't have.
Oh yeah.
It
was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a full monologue. Like, and so you know, you put it together, and you get your time to rehearse with it, and then you go in there and you just read it. And this was at a fishing like a tackle, bait and tackle store, you know, a little fisher shop. But you were talking about an accident that happened to you a long time ago, and you know the events are fuzzy, and you're like, look, lady, this is all I know. You know, this happened, and then all of a sudden that happened, and you could tell that you were dealing with a pushy reporter, an intrepid reporter. You know, a Pulitzer Prize winning maybe.
Right.
and so like the clues were there, and it was like I feel like I'm talking with Lois. Like,
Yeah.
No, so you're delivering this monologue, and you're figuring it out in your head that this is a Superman movie.
sort of, kind of, maybe,
Yeah.
or not,
Absolute closure
So-
there.
So we get a call back, and I get a call back to go back in, and again it's just kind of more of the same stuff, and it's I've done it so many times, like you don't know what that moment's like, except I was back around this era. I was a tour guide. I was a Chicago tour guide. I drove a trolley around Chicago, those old like red and green kind of vintage trolleys and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was driving on Lakeshore Drive, and I was empty at the time. There was nobody in the. I was doing some private thing, and I looked down and I saw my phone was ringing, and it was my agent. And this is how nerdy. It'll get. Do we lose Fee? There we go. Yeah, cool.
Sorry, I don't know what that was. My bad.
And so I got this call and looked down at it, and the voicemail was ringing on the phone, just like kind of that haunting voicemail. And I'm driving this giant, 35,000-pound trolley down the, so I can't really can't pull over on Lakeshore Drive. So I get off on Michigan Avenue, and I turn over by the 900 shops and Bloomingdale's and all this, and I pull over and I look at this voicemail, and this is how nerdy it is. It's like I can either check it right now, or not. And I had this like Schrodinger's cat theory with all of this, like Schrodinger's has got the cat in the box, and if you open it, then you'll see if the cat's dead or alive. You can have it. You have its paradox. And so I was like looking at this thing, and I was like, I was either going to check this voicemail or not, because at this point I have the role.
So you had like this gut feeling.
I was like, I have the role or I don't at this point.
Okay.
So in this moment, I have it, and I can be happy. I don't even have to check the voicemail because it's paradox. I have it, or I don't. I have it and I don't at the same time. And you'll never know until you check it.
Right.
It's kind of like, and then once you check it, then what world have I opened up into? It's like it was crazy because my brain works. And so I checked the voicemail, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you got it! You got the project. You're due to go on to the suburbs. It was like out near Skokie, a little bit further, Yorkville, wow. And they're like, you're going to go out there, and you're going to go for your costume fitting. And keep in mind, my agent still hasn't told me what this is. Mm-hmm. All I know is I got the Untitled Warner Brothers project.
That's awesome.
And so I'm following the directions out there, and they on the notes to get out there, they do reference it as the fortress. And I was like,
oh my god!
So when I get out there, I walk up to the desk, and of course, like big, huge, like behind the desk, the big Superman emblem, and I'm like, I'm here for the Untitled Warner Brothers project, and they're like, yeah, no, it's we're doing Man of Steel, and you're going to be right back over here. And I was just like, okay. So they walked me through like this big open room just full of costumes, and it was all of Smallville, like every costume that would fit the characters that would make up Smallville are there. And I'm like, oh man, I was like, they're doing Smallville. Who am I? Like I don't even know who I am. I didn't know what the movie is. I don't know who I am. All I know is like, I'm here, I'm in Smallville, what's going on? Now, keep in mind, like I've been a Superman fan this whole time. Like I collect original Superman art. I collect original comic art. Like I have a lot of figures. One booster gold, but the rest of them are all Superman. And it's it was the weirdest thing. And so I'm like in my own weird like little nerd heaven because
that must have been like surreal.
I love Superman, and I'm in the Fortress of Solitude because it's what they really called it, and I'm in Smallville, right? So then they go in to take my measurements. This woman was really nice. She's just measuring me up, chatting me up and stuff, and then she hands me this little whiteboard that has my name scrawled on it. She scrawls my character's name on it, and she hands it to me, and I look at it, and it said Pete Ross, and I was like, I'm Pete Ross? And she's like, And she's like, yeah, well, it's not Pete Rose, it's Pete Ross. I was like, I know who Pete Ross is. I mean, his good friend. It's his best friend from childhood. Like, I know who he is. I mean, it's basically like written in the old comic books. He's written to be kind of the Jimmy Olsen of the youth, you know, like everyone's kind of got this pared down version of them in the Superboy comics. And so he's basically the Jimmy Olsen character or figure, you know, who's always like kind of in trouble or in distress. But he's the only one, like, well, the first one really in Superman's life and canon that knew that Clark was Superman.
Yeah.
He has this great secret, you know, this great kind of thing that he protects, you know, and like, you know, his story arc is huge in the comics. He ends up becoming vice president to Lex Luthor, and then he becomes like president after this. Now, keep in mind, all of this is going in my head at the time.
Right.
You're like flipping
I'm
out.
just like,
You're like,
vice president, and become president whenever, you know, it's like, well, he does all these great things. And so they usher me down to my fitting to actually pull in some of the costume pieces that I'm going to be putting on. And the costume, like the guy who does all the costuming, you know, the costume director, I don't know, wardrobe god, I don't know what it is, but
the person.
He comes over, the head of costuming. He comes over and he's talking with me, and I'm just like going off on him about all the shit that Pete Ross has ever done in anything.
So you were like literally flipping out and telling everybody.
Yeah, and they were like, and so much so that they were like, hey, you got to come here and listen to this guy. Like, this is great. And I was just like, yeah, blah, 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 and then he does this, and then he does this, and then he does that. And like, I can't believe like this is going to be so great, you know, because I'm like, I am his best friend. You know?
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I am Superman's best friend.
You didn't have to do any studying for the role. You knew right away.
No, I had prepped for this test. And so they have a lot of fun with me. You know, they're allowing me to see some stuff. And I was like, can I see the suit? Is the suit here? And they were like, the suit is here. We can't show it to you, but it's right behind that door. And I was like, I want to see it. I want to see it. And so then I go and you know, that was that. That was the day. You know, I made a lot of friends. And, you know, I mean, like we spent like, you know, 20 minutes deciding what tie I'm going to wear. There's a moment in the film when I get out of the car and I'm a manager at IHOP, you know, and you see me adjust a tie. I'm zipping up my tie. They chose Pete Ross would definitely have a zip tie.
A zip like a zipper, like those old.
A zipper, yep. It's like zip. You know, you zip up the tie. And
I had one of those. It's
like around the neck
when I was a kid.
And well, yeah, you are a magician, so I would expect a magician to have a zip tie on hand.
I thought it was cool when I was a kid.
And I mean, the attention to detail was so crazy. I had to wear glasses for this shoot, and the props master came out and met him downtown, and I had to get a new prescription. My prescription had lapsed, so they paid for me to get a prescription. Wow. And those glasses that I'm wearing, and those are my prescription, which I don't have a really bad prescription. I could have just worn fake glasses, and it would have been fine. But they were like, no, we're going to get you real glasses, and they're going to be, you know, we're going to find your frames. And so the prop master was sitting there looking at all these frames, and you know, it was crazy. Wow. And
did you get to keep the glasses?
No.
Oh,
there's a story about that too. So you know, then, you know, so it was just so surreal, you know, from casting to getting it. Then it just kept going, you know, like just the craziness of it all.
And being like a huge super fan, I mean, that's, gosh.
This is kind of funny because they talk, you know, and there's, as an actor, everyone you meet along the way is so important to your career, right? Mm-hmm. If you're rude to anyone on the front line, if you come off like an arrogant little prick to anyone on the front line, they will talk. If you come off as super nice guy, they will talk. If you come off as like a fanatic nerd for the movie you're about to be in, they will talk. And so they did. When I had first gotten onto set, and I walked in, and I was only on like Man of Steel. They shot me in one day. That was it, just one day. I went out to an actual like IHOP, and they shot me that day. And then
So,
Yeah.
so the whole thing was shot in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were you the first, second, or was there a third unit?
This was primarily to film Lois and Pete Ross in the IHOP and all of my stuff around the IHOP. I had stand-ins, which was crazy. That's a weird thing when you meet your stand-in, your second unit, because they're the ones that are cast to look like you.
Really?
One of my friends actually texted me. He was like, "So apparently you're in the new Man of Steel movie," and this was really before I knew what was happening, because his agent sent him an audition to be my stand-in, and he looks nothing like me. But he was, and I was like, "Wait a minute, your agent told you my agent? I got the role, and I don't even know what I'm doing."
What? So, did they film like two different you and a different actor, and they were gonna decide in post?
No. A stand-in is so when the actors are too busy to be bothered to have the lights adjusted on them, they send in your stand-in. So your stand-in goes in there. He's wearing similar stuff to you, looks similar height, so they can focus all their lights and stuff like that. And then you get pulled in.
So you got a stand-in.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did they have stand-ins for Saul and Chicago Fire, or was that?
No, that was a little less heavy on production. Yeah. Me and Bob Odenkirk were together all night, like doing it was crazy. So I get on set, and it's really funny because Zack Snyder was great to meet in person. He was super happy, and this was actually their very first day of filming, and it's just the weirdest thing.
Oh wow! So you were on the first day of the entire production.
Yeah, it was nuts. And so the team you could see that they were just now starting to work together. They were just trying to figure out how they were going to do all this, and never forget, they pulled me out of the car, and I was doing this walk around. They were pulling in these sweeps and looking up at me. I'm supposed to look up, and see ships flying overhead. And they had this great cut, and they were like, "All right, great, next." And I was like, "Oh, I forgot to hit record." And it was like they were such a new group to it,
Oh my god!
Wow.
But so I got a moment to talk to Zack Snyder, and I was just like, thanks so much for bringing me in, And he goes, yeah, you're the Superman nerd, right? And I was like, yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. That's right.
And he was like, yeah, no, they told me that everything that's ever happened to this character. And I was like, yeah, he becomes vice president and then president. If you want to do a sequel, I'm here for it.
I'm here for you, man.
And so that was really wild. And then whenever Amy Adams showed up, I'm sitting at a table. I'm actually hanging out with my stand-ins because I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I just was like, so you're me, okay? And
parallel universe, right?
Yeah. And I've been the extra, so it's I know what that's like, and I know the nerves that you have whenever you're on set, and you're just I'm just here as a stand-in. I don't know what to do, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm nobody either, man. It's fine. And so I'm sitting there, and then Amy Adams gets on set, and she walks over to me, and she goes like this. She walks over to me, she's like, and then someone's Miss Adams, and she looks over, and she goes, and she walks away, and I was like, what the hell was that about? Why did Amy Adams just come up to me and I'm going to talk to you, I'll be back, kind of thing. Right. She didn't say a word. It was just and then she walks away. And so I was like, why did they make her go away? I wanted to, she had something to say to me.
Right.
She comes back over, and she goes, "You're the Superman nerd, right?" So I was like, yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So everyone knew that I was just so nerdy about this, and anyone that would listen to me go on about Superman, I would and I was telling Zack Snyder, I was like, yeah, it's so weird. I was like, Pete Ross ends up marrying Lana Lang, and he's like, what? I was like, yeah, no, it's in the books, it's in the comics.
Really?
They marry. Pete Ross and Lana Lang get married. You know, they have a kid,
Wow.
and all this stuff. And Zack Snyder's like, this is crazy. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, it was just nuts, you know.
Yeah.
And I had a great time doing it. It was a lot of fun. And they kept everything that I shot. They kept, which I thought was really cool because they didn't have to.
Did you get any
that scene.
behind the scene footage? Did they give you any like a folder over the computer or anything with some?
I have a clip. I have the only behind the scenes footage I could find of you on set.
Oh.
Do you want to see it? Do you know that you're in the special features?
Maybe.
Here, let's play this really quick.
School bus.
So yeah, that was the
funny.
whole Pete Ross segment.
Gosh, how cool!
That's funny.
I keep trying to imagine this in my head when you walked up to the desk and saw the Superman poster. I just like try to put myself in your shoes, and that's amazing, man. Just to not have a clue and then have that kind of clue and then have the person be like, yeah, it's Man of Steel. Yeah, you know, it's
It
like
was
I would've
just
been
like
I
every
would've
little
had
bit
to
of
run
it was just
outside
like
and scream before I could come back in. Like I would have been freaking out. That's amazing.
Oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
I noticed in that clip that your tie was red, and then in other footage your tie is blue.
You weren't supposed to see that.
Was there a reason?
No, I actually don't remember them. I know that they liked the zip tie, and I thought that was the red one, but they might have come out and put a different one on me. I don't remember that. It's weird.
But they kept everything, and
Yeah, they kept like every little thing that they shot, and I thought that was really cool, you know. And then when I when they brought me back for Batman versus Superman, and you know, I mean, and they didn't use any of what they shot of me in the theatrical release. I was just like, Zach, how'd you do me like that, man? Like, come on.
yeah.
Yeah.
You were in the good cut, the good one.
What's that?
You were in the good cut. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
theatrical cut. I don't like that.
And that's the thing. It's like Zach ended up putting back in. I think he put in everything he shot.
I'm sure.
That's the director's cut. It's like, no, I have all of this footage.
Yeah.
And he ended up putting in all the stuff that we shot.
He does
Took
seem in
3
love with
days.
all
3
his
days
work.
in Batman vs Superman.
So 3 days you were on set.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in that time, you got to meet Henry Cavill. What was he like?
Well, Henry was very funny. A very nice guy. Like when I met him he was on set for both of the shots that I did.
Okay.
So he was on set for the IHOP scene.
Oh yeah, when he crashes into the tables.
No, actually, that's movie making. They filmed that in Canada on
way.
a soundstage. When I was there, that scene that you were showing where they crash through and I'm looking out and he's looking back at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he wasn't in that scene at all. I was actually in an IHOP. There were people above me on a ladder dropping ceiling tiles down on me. To make it, so I'm just like looking around and, and then they're dropping shit, and they're like, yeah, we're going to put this all together later. So when I pop my head out and I look at him, I asked Zack Snyder, I was like, can I recognize him?
Yeah.
I was like, can I do that? Can I just, can I like have a moment where I'm like,
so that was you.
Yeah. It was really cool.
That's
awesome.
So,
and so I was like, oh wait, I can recognize him, right? And Zach's like, sure, it sounds
That's
great.
Awesome.
So when I saw that movie, because I didn't see that wasn't put together, when I saw that he recognized me, I was like, oh, I did that. Like that's me.
That's so cool.
And like my nerdiness, I'm sitting there watching it in 3D, and I was like, he knows me,
That's amazing.
Like he recognized me, he knows him.
Because that was for that movie. I was watching that and I'm like, that's perfect comedy for that movie. That was great.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I feel bad. Like I got him sucker punched. You know.
Oh
Right. And then he goes.
It's like, don't look at me, man. I'm like, hey, I'm your old buddy.
no!
Kind of like pauses.
You're in a fight. Pay attention. You got a bad guy there.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, we'll catch up. We'll catch up. Call me. I'm here at the IHOP.
Right.
I'm a manager now. I got a thing going. I'll get you a discount.
Is that?
Come on back.
I got connects. Don't worry. That is amazing, man.
So
Wow.
so when I first met Henry was there doing who knows what, you know. But we were in the we were in the trailer, and they were getting my makeup on, you know, and they were getting me ready, and in comes Henry Cavill, and they get him ready, start washing his hair, and then you know he comes up and they're drying, you know, and he's sitting in the next room in the trailer, and I walk over and I'm like, I think I said, you know, Clark, and
Oh boy.
and I said, he goes, hey, Henry, you know, and I was like, hey, I'm Pete Ross, and he goes like, yeah, I figured, cool, man. I was like, yeah, your boyhood friend. I was like, hey, man, and this is I don't know why I said this, but like here I am looking at the future of the Superman franchise, you know, getting hair washed, and I'm you know, I'm his old boyhood friend, so I can say this apparently. But I was like, hey, man, have a lot of fun with this. This is going to be great. And you've got a lot of nerds counting on you, so don't mess this up, all right?
So don't mess this up.
Oh boy.
And he
now
laughed. He thought it was hilarious. He was just like, thanks, man. You know,
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
yeah.
That's true,
And-
though. It's true.
Yeah. So, yeah, I felt like on behalf of all of us, you know, I spoke on behalf of all of the comic book nerds to Henry Cavill before his shooting even began.
Oh, you
Like,
did.
You've got a lot of people counting on you, man. Like,
They totally were. Now, being the big Superman fan that you are, now I'm sure you realize that in the comic books, Pete Ross is like a bully, and they changed your character to be the childhood friend.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, that's kind of opposite. He was never a bully in the Superboy stuff. I mean, not really a bully. He was just a friend. He was a foil a lot of times.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's he was at the 16th birthday party. You know, he's just friends. You know, it's Lana and Clark and all that.
Okay.
Like, I mean, this happened to him. You know, he got attacked by aliens, and Superman's just like, "Go, you do it." Oh,
Wow.
yeah, you know, and so he's just kind of the foil.
Sure.
And so in Man of Steel they made him a bully, and that was Jack Foley, by the way. Jack Foley was you know, they basically got me to look like Jack Foley. They cast Jack Foley first, and then they pulled me in. That's the hair is awful in that, and they wanted it so that you would immediately recognize that it's Jack Foley, it's Pete Ross, and so much so that they dyed my hair a little redder. Like I felt like I was 12 again. I was like just full on ginger, you know. But yeah, so they made him into a bully, which I thought was weird. There was so much I thought was weird about the origin story of Man of Steel in that, you know. I mean, like he couldn't save his dad from a tornado.
Yeah.
No. He
That was weird.
Paul Kent, you know, he dies of a heart attack. Like he dies of being
right, something that
Well,
something that Superman
That's how
cannot.
Superman and Lois did it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Something that Superman cannot save, and I can't save you from your own humanity, from your own frailty.
Yeah,
And that's a big lesson for Superman growing up. I mean, it's to say, you know, to wave him off and say, "Don't save me," like I can save you, get you back home. I could be back under this bridge without anybody thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, like 2
I
seconds.
could go pull you back and put you back here and go, what happened? I don't know. Tornado.
It just whipped me over here. Something.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's so what was it? Was it like going to like the premiere of the movie?
Because you went with your father,
So-
correct?
Yeah. You want to see that? That's one of my favorite
Oh yeah.
Little images here.
Oh yeah.
That's,
Here we go.
yeah, that's me and my. It's me and my dad. Like we've got the 3D Superman glass. I still have those glasses somewhere.
Oh, that's so cool.
And yeah, that was that was just a showing.
Okay.
In Chicago, but I got to go to the Chicago premiere. No red carpet or anything like that. It was just for the cast and crew.
Oh, okay.
So it was really neat. Like all the agents that the casting directors that worked on it, agents who supplied actors, all the crew, and so I randomly ended up sitting by the production, the prop master, the guy who went and shopped glasses with me, and this was like, a year and a half later, and he's just sitting there, and it was the weirdest thing, and I was like, hey, where are those glasses?
Hey, where are those glasses, man?
What happened to those glasses? He's like, you know what? I've been meaning to look those, and I know we've talked since then. We had emailed after the production, and so he said he was going to look into it, but apparently they need them for who knows why. But that was really cool, like seeing it and seeing all the cuts and all that stuff, and my wife and I got to go to that, and that was just fun. And then my family came in, my dad and my sister came in, and so it was and my sister's husband, they all came in, and we watched it kind of together, and I thought it was cool, to have your dad like sit there and watch the movie and then look over and then see you,
Right.
Did he do like a double take?
Well, yeah, he just thought it was the coolest thing, it was just like, look at that, that's great,
Wow.
And the people next to me kind of caught on to what was happening, they were like, oh my God, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
But it's such a small, it's such a small role that I'm an Easter egg, I'm an Easter egg for the nerds out there,
Oh no.
So I'm not like going to the bathroom and everyone's like, oh my God, because
Right.
it's just, it happens like that,
That is
so much so that I was like, yeah, I'm in it. And people were like, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. I'm like, well, I'm not like a Flash. I'm not just, I am on full screen,
Oh no, I think you were really important because Lois Lane shows up and she asks questions, the whole story.
And that freaking monologue that I had was supposed to be right there. And I told Zach, I was like, I had lines. Do you want me to add those back in? And he's like, sure. So I actually do speak when she talks to me, but they weren't part of the actual script. They handed me this little piece of paper and they were like, "Here's your sides." I was like, "Yeah, but where's the line? Where's the monologue?"
Oh, so
they
it
were
wasn't
like,
part of the script.
Yeah, so it was really weird. But I do go on to say,
Do you have Do you still have the piece of paper?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I actually do. I have it's so weird. I took a picture of it. I was just like, actor's life.
Right.
I was learning the monologue at a laundromat while I was waiting for my clothes to dry. And I have a picture of me just, I just took a picture of that at the laundromat as just, actor's life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And didn't know that would later be, the Man of Steel thing, which is crazy.
What was the monologue? Do you still remember or?
No, it was basically just, it was saying what was said with just popping to the next scene. It was, look, this was a long time ago. I don't really remember what happened.
Right.
I've already talked to the press about this, so there's nothing really else I can say. But if you want to know more, go to Clark, go see him.
Yeah.
Like, he's the one that you want to talk to on this. So I basically rat out that Clark Kent is Superman, and
That's
so you led Lois. Okay, cool.
It's
yeah. So
Lois
the next
Lane,
scene is her going up to Clark's house and talking with the mom, and so I'm the rat, I have one job in Superboy comics, and that's to protect Clark's secret, and then Zack Snyder puts me in there, and I ruin it. I just am like, oh yeah, no, Clark, yeah, he's an alien, yeah, he's got crazy powers, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you want the freak strong kid? Yeah. No, he lives down the lane.
He's
Yeah.
just 2 houses down.
Oh wow.
Yeah, telling Pete Ross said, hey,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. So.
Did he cut out?
What's that?
I think
Oh,
we're
so
good.
sorry. Okay. I thought the volume cut out.
So what was it what was it like working with Amy Adams?
It was cool. She, it was funny because like she, what she actually came back and talked to me about was her husband had is a comic book artist or writer, creator.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And so she was just excited to meet someone that like knew comic books. She's like, oh man, my husband he does all these comics and stuff. But she was nice. It was cool. She's not a superstar. When we were hanging out on Batman vs Superman, she was pretty busy. But Diane Lane and Amy Adams and Lawrence Fishburne, we were all like in a tent together. Everyone's just real human, which is really cool to see.
Yeah. You told me to ask about the last day on set of Batman versus Superman. You tried to make Lawrence Fisher laugh.
Well, no, that wasn't so hard. I mean, the whole of Batman versus Superman experience was like next level. Like what I thought was nerdy in Man of Steel. Like it was just tenfold. My experience on that was next level. Like that was crazy because I got a phone call for that one. I didn't even audition for that one. I just got a phone call from my agent, and my agent was like, so. And I was at work, at this point I was still working at a tour guide company, but I was now in the marketing department. I was kind of climbing this little ladder that I was focused on in tourism. And I'm just sitting there at my desk and they were like, Zack Snyder wants to know if you'll be back for Batman versus Superman. And I just stood up. And was just like,
So
yes.
Did you get the call before it was announced to the public? So you knew.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
this was like before Comic-Con announcement, right?
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
This was so early on. I've done so many projects that are just like non-disclosures. Like you just can't talk about it.
Absolutely.
They don't want you to know that they don't want anyone to know your cast. They don't want you to say who you are. I mean, that's why I was kept so in the dark in Man of Steel. Is like everything was just under wraps, and so in this one, it was again like everything's under wrap. Wow. And so that date drew near. They gave me 3 days, and full scale. That was a good payday. They brought me back in for costuming, same team, putting the costumes together, which I thought was really cool.
Did you still have to do the hair dyeing and all that?
No. So no. I mean, like for Man of Steel, they took me to Mario Tricoshi downtown. Like they hand painted my hair. It wasn't just like a dye. They like went in and like made it as natural as possible by hand painting the hair. Wow. And the prescription glasses. And this was, they just were rummaging through a bin of props. And here's some glasses. Put these on. I was like, do you have my original ones?
That's why they were different.
Yeah,
I noticed that.
They just handed me some glasses and we're like, here you go. And
I mean, it is normal for people throughout their times to have several pairs of glasses. So I'm glad it wasn't too different.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it was so weird.
Ross,
like
he has a zip-up tie for crying out loud.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they blew their budget on Ben Affleck for this movie, so I didn't get my.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so being back on that set was just insane, because I took 3 days off work, and then you just go out to Yorkville, out to the house. This was where I was at, if you can see that.
Oh, here, let me
Oh yeah, let's pull it up here.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the Smallville.
The Smallville.
Yeah. So inside this house, everything is set up. Like, so anytime you saw the inside of the house in Batman vs Superman, like they actually filmed it in that house. It wasn't on a soundstage.
Oh, it wasn't in a separate set.
No, and they did the house up. And the weirdest thing is like, having this Pete Ross moment, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Going into the house, and there's Clark, his like baby pictures, with Dad, and like it's young Clark. But the crazy thing is, it's the actor from Man of Steel, and it's Kevin Costner. Like they took pictures of them, and then decorated the house to be Smallville, to be Clark's house. The detail was unreal. And you walk in, and like there's where the living room was, there was this big giant hole in the ceiling, and it went up to a second floor, and there were rafters where they would hang all the lights and cameras on it.
Wait a second. Did they make
built
this house, or did they
Yeah, no, they
modify
built
it?
this house.
They built the house?
This house as a set.
Wow.
So the entire inside of it is a giant cavity that you can shoot down on. You know,
So it's not livable. It's just structured to look like a
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, they actually tore it down after Man of Steel and then rebuilt it.
Wow.
For Batman
Can
vs.
you
Superman.
imagine having that kind of money? Just like, hey, can we build a house in
So
like 2
wait a
days?
second. Do you know if that's the same house in Justice League?
I don't think so. They didn't film it here.
No.
No, I don't
I'm
think
trying
so.
to remember that scene.
But did you get a script, or you just got your lines for
No, you get
Batman
your
versus
sides.
Superman?
You get your sides. So whatever scene you're in, they just hand you a piece of paper, and those are your lines.
Oh,
And
okay.
so for this one, I had no idea like what my lines were, like what I was even doing there. So I get there. This was even more under wraps. So I get there on set, and the very first thing we do is we stand around a grave, and you see Pa Kent, and you're like, all right, well, who's next to it? Who's going to be in this hole? Who's in this box?
Right.
So that kind of became the running joke was, we're sitting around at this grave, and if you look at that scene, it's like everyone. And the one of the most fun Easter eggs is the preacher from Man of Steel, who kind of gives Clark that moment of sitting in the pews, talking about responsibility and all that stuff. That's the guy that's the same actor who's at the gravesite in the Ultimate Edition. Really fun to bring that back, and Zack Snyder knew that. He's like, no, I want the priest back, the preacher back. Wow. And so it's just everyone around that site was like, you can see Deb Snyder, Zack's wife. You can see all of these major producers, the grips, the prop handlers. They were the ones around the gravesite. This was kept so under wraps. They didn't want anyone to leak that we were doing the death of Superman.
Wow.
But did you put it together, being a Superman fan? Did you like?
Yeah, I mean, you do this. You sit there and you're looking around and you're like, okay, so why is Perry White in Smallville?
Yeah, those kind of questions.
Why is Perry White here? Why is So I asked Deb Snyder. I said, are we allowed to ask what's in the box?
Yeah.
She just looks at me, no smile. She just goes, no, and then turns around and was like, okay. So then it became kind of this joke of like, because everyone heard me say that, and I was just kind of like, what's in the box?
What's in the
box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Oh my goodness.
And so Lawrence Fishburne starts kind of laughing at that, and I was like, I'm going to talk to him later.
Right.
But I mean, like this had everybody in it, like these scenes had everyone in it. Gal Gadot was on set. And
So these
was
3
she
days
like?
that you were on set, they filmed the scene with Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot.
at the gravesite. Yeah,
So
everything
they filmed
done.
all that.
Yeah, anything done in the house. So when Lois is with the wedding ring,
Right.
at the end, that was one of the last. I was actually cut while Diane Lane and everybody was up there. We spent 3 days in cornfields, shooting that funeral procession for days on end.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it's really weird because if you look, like it's Ma Kent and Lois, and then I'm right behind with Lawrence and Jenny Olsen, but Lana is in there too. There's when I got to set, this is another fun little picture. When I got to set, I was I have this one right here. That's Pete Ross and Lana. A lot of people don't know that Lana Lang was in that movie. When you first see the house, there's like this helicopter that's flying over. It's this helicopter right here was flying over, and you can see two people walking up to the house, and it's for the funeral, and that's me and Lana walking up, and then we were in that procession, like following, because I mean, apparently we became besties later in life. I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, we spent 3 days wandering around in cornfields. It was just nuts. Shot it from every angle you can imagine, which was kind of a bummer whenever you see like the actual movie. It's like you can sort of see me, but I'm an extra in that film, which is like, gut wrenching, because I was so cool to have a line with Diane Lane at the end talking about who paid for this ridiculous funeral in Smallville.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Who paid for the bagpipe guy, and
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, it was so cool to just have everybody around, on that. And you had asked about Gal Gadot, like what was she like on set?
Yeah.
So my one of my favorite things about like being on that set was the people who remembered me from the other one being a big Superman nerd. And one of them said, "Oh, so I hear you collect comic books. I want you to meet this other guy over here."
Okay.
And so, there's you can see him in the funeral scene. He's actually, I was watching it last night. I was like, "Oh, that's the guy." Had to have been a producer. I don't know what he was doing. He's just a friend of Zack Snyder's.
Sure.
He's Saudi, very wealthy.
Okay.
And so the prop master introduces me to this guy, and he goes, "Yeah," and he collects comic books as well. And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "What do you have?" He's like, "You name it, I have it."
No.
And I was like, "So do you have do you have like the original like Action Comics number
Right.
one?" He goes, "I have 2 of them."
No.
And I said,
incredibly rare.
"What do you do with them? What do you put them up on a wall? Like,
Yeah.
like what do you do with that?" He's like, "They're in the bank vault." And I was like,
That is
fair
awesome.
enough.
Yeah, that's a smart place to put them. Speaking
So
of
he's
that,
got it.
That's very clever.
speaking
So
of the first Action comic, the first episode of Superman and Lois,
Mm-hmm.
they have a callback to that exact cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if we talked about it yet. Have you watched it, the first episode?
Of Superman and Lois?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think of the first episode, Joey?
I didn't actually get into it yet.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Watch the first episode. You'll enjoy it because they have a very beautiful callback in the scene. Like I said, the first episode was perfect for whatever they're doing. But the first Action comic, you should watch the first episode just because of that. It's
Have
incredible.
you seen the suit, the classic?
No, he hasn't seen it yet. He's got to go and see it.
Yeah.
No. You
I'm
like it.
excited
I
for
think,
you, Joe.
I think it was a treat for you because you're a big Superman fan. I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah.
So this guy, yeah, he's got 2 of these Action Comic number ones. He's listing off all of the first appearances of this,
Wow.
And I said, I've got I've got some comics with me. I'll bring them in to set, and there are some original Pete Ross covers, and so I signed them.
Get out!
Because I was talking to this major collector, and I was like, yeah, so I signed him Pete Ross, so the value will go up,
Yeah.
And he's joking because you don't sign a comic book, it's immediately, it devalues it incredibly.
Yeah. But you are.
These guys, this is one of them that I did.
Wait, you actually signed?
That
Wait,
is so amazing.
So-
I would have
so
done
I-
it too if I played the character.
hold that up again. Let me see.
Right there.
Yeah.
That is
he's right there.
incredible.
And so I was joking with him. I was like, yeah, no, I brought some comic books and I signed it, and I want to give them away to the cast. And he's like, "You signed the comic book?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I said, "Oh, you know what you should do? You should ask Henry to sign your Action Comics number one. The value would be incredible in that." And he's like, "I'm not letting you anywhere near my comic."
Wait a second. There's like a thing of Henry Cavill signing a comic. Were you there for that?
No.
Oh.
But
That is-
yeah, I wanted him to sign one of the most rare comics on Earth to ruin it and just go Henry Cavill, Man of Steel,
Yeah.
It really
no.
is.
And so then I see him the next day and he's walking around and he goes, "Hey, I have some comic books with me if you'd like to see." And So Gal Gadot was there, and this is like first time out being Wonder Woman, and she never really read the comics, and so this guy went out and got the first 10 of Sensational Comics, the origin story of Wonder Woman, and he brought them all in. And so it was me, it was this collector, it was Gal Gadot, and the props guy, and we're all just sitting there like passing around these original.
I would have loved to see that
in hard plastic,
Yeah.
And Gal Gadot's like looking at it and is like, I like this. This suit's better than mine, and it's the Star Spangled kind of, Wonder Woman outfit from the Sensational Comics, and that was just a trip to experience, seeing these Wonder Woman comics like for the first time ever, and especially with Wonder Woman, like handing Wonder Woman Sensational Comics #1 is just that was
crazy.
That was a weird
crazy.
moment.
Oh.
And so yeah, I mean, so my thing is I was, I was showing, I brought these in to show, and Lawrence Fishburne and we had a lot of downtime. I used to it was just like talking with him was incredible. Everyone wants to, they're like, oh, did you talk about Matrix? And it's like, no, I talked about Boys in the Hood.
Sure.
I talked about how he was Cowboy Curtis in Pee Wee Herman, and how he ended up knowing Pee Wee. How did you get to know Paul Rubens? Like, how did you know,
from Tim Burton's movie, Pee Wee Herman?
No, from the Pee Wee Herman show. Like from
From the show.
From the show. Like, he was Cowboy Curtis in the original show. It was like with him and Phil Hartman, and like there's an old HBO special.
Oh my god, I haven't watched Pee Wee's Playhouse since probably I was a kid.
Literally.
Yeah. And so and so it was, him talking about his experience in Pee Wee was just hilarious. And so we kind of bonded over him talking about, he went the first time he ever saw Pee Wee live. He was just sitting there, and a friend of his said, I want you to come and watch my buddy here. He's doing this thing with the Groundlings. And he was throwing candy out at the audience. He's like, want some candy? Who wants some candy? Who wants some candy? And Lawrence Fishburne is, young, just watching this guy, and he's like, if this motherfucker hits me with some candy, I'm gonna get it. It's like,
yeah, oh yeah.
So he auditioned for Cowboy Curtis, and if you know Cowboy Curtis, like he's got velvet chaps, and it's all purple and stuff, and Jerry Big and all this. But he auditioned for Cowboy Curtis, and he said he took it real serious. He came in with some like rawhide. He was like, I'm gonna be a cowboy. And it was just like rugged, and he's just like, yeah, so I'm a cow. And they were like, could you do it a little lighter? Right. So he comes back and he's like, he says, the one regret I have in my life is choosing a Jerry curl wig, because he's like, that thing was so hot, it was awful. But he came back in and he created that character for Cowboy Curtis. So anyways, we were talking, and I was like, yeah, no, I was like, hey, I have these comic books. And I was talking to him about these covers, because if you get into some of these covers, they're just so bizarre. Superman, my dying wish is to know your secret identity. You say you're Clark Kent. It's a lie. But look how creepy this cover is. It's a little boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
What is happening here?
I almost don't want to open that comic book up.
That's Pete Ross's son.
Wow.
That's Pete Ross's son. And why is Pete Ross letting his son in there with Superman undressing? It's just terrible.
Don't know.
That's
a dangerous question.
You've seen I know Batman and Robin, the candle scene from I forget what comic book. It's like the first appearance of Robin, I think. And it's this weird comic books were definitely weird back then.
So my last day on set, I signed all those books that I had with me, and I handed them. Lawrence Fishburne was so happy. He was laughing so hard at these comics and the fact that I signed them and gave them out. So I gave one to Lawrence Fishburne. I gave one to Zack Snyder. He was just like, "This is perfect." When I came back on set, we were graveside, and I was like, first I was like, "Hey, I just want to thank you for bringing me back." And he looks at me, he's like, couldn't do it without Pete Ross. And I was like, you get it. And so, but I handed him that, and I was like, and also, would you give this to Amy? You know, he's like, absolutely. He's like, this is so fun. Yeah, no, this is perfect. Thank you. So yeah, they all got autographed. So out there in the world is these really random Pete Ross covers of Superboy that they're signed by me. It's really funny.
That's great, man.
Oh, this is this is another one right here. I ended up rebuying them because I just wanted, I wanted them. But the last will and testament, I bequeath my powers to Pete Ross. Secret of something Superboy, and this one right here. Oh,
See that.
Oh, look, and Crypto's dead too.
Oh yeah, Crypto, the super dog.
Yeah. Poor Pete, he doesn't know I'm using my super willpower to make my heart stop beating. I must trick him into believing that my dog Crypto and I have died. No pulse at all from my best friend, Superboy. He's dead from Virus X. Oh, yeah.
Oh my, that's fun. That's great. That's so funny.
Wow.
But, so who's your favorite Superman?
Tom Welling. No, I'm kidding.
That's fair.
I was going to be about to be like, that's a take I wasn't expecting.
Because that show was on for
Smallville.
10 years, right?
10 seasons, yeah.
10 seasons, right?
But I do represent.
Ah,
There
there
it
you
is.
go. Nice. Yeah, I only have one Superman action figure, and it's back here in the
Dare
case.
you? How dare you?
It's from
technically he has
Batman,
two.
Superman, Public Enemies.
He's got this one and that one.
I bought all of mine are DC Direct except for this one. I got this one the day I was booked for Batman versus Superman. I went out and got this one.
Perfect.
Did
That is
he
perfect.
sign it? Did Henry come?
No, I signed it. What? Come on.
Oh, you signed it.
I just sit around signing stuff in my own house.
I love it. That's totally fine.
Posted it up on
No,
YouTube.
I mean, the only Superman is Christopher Reeve. That's
True. That is true.
Oh, I mean,
his
it's-
Clark
the other
Kent
ones are-
was very good.
yeah. I mean, he took joy in being Clark Kent. He took joy in the frailty of being human. Which I thought was really fun.
And I think that's what's missing from the portrayals of Superman today is that other side of Clark Kent. Because
Yeah.
basically
He's not always sad. I mean, he's not always
No.
brooding. Clark is just he's a nerd.
Right.
And
I mean, he was brooding and sad up until he puts on the suit. I don't think he should be in the suit brooding and sad. That's
no, he's how can you be the hero that's supposed to give everyone hope when you're just moping?
Yeah.
right. It stands for hope. Next movie, not so
Guys.
much.
Guys, I got this. I'll save the day. Everything's gonna be fine.
Absolutely.
Man. So I know you were in the movie Batman vs Superman, but what did you think of it overall? Did you like it? Did you?
So I revisited it last night. I watched the whole, director's cut, and it was, there's this there in the back of your mind. You're like, well, I was there and I know them, and they put so much work into it, and
Right.
but, it didn't make sense. Why are they fighting? Like, why would Lex Luthor try to egg on a fight with Batman across this? First of all, I hated how close Gotham was to Metropolis. Like, what is
We
that?
talked about that
Oh
too.
yeah, that is just
Right across
boggles
the
my
river.
mind that they're like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. Let's have them neighbors. Like,
Yeah,
And the
you're
weather's different on each side.
Do you see that? Do you see the spotlight? Yeah, that's it over there. It's like so Superman will always see that light go up. And like, first of all, if Gotham is that close, why does Gotham need a Batman? Why doesn't Superman just go over there and
Right.
stop it?
Right.
Exactly. Right. It makes no sense.
So in
No
this
sense
this
whatsoever.
is what Marvel does really well. Is Marvel comics always take place like in this world, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So there is a New York, there is a Chicago, but in DC Comics, there's Metropolis, there's Gotham, there's Keystone City, there's
Right.
Central City,
Star City. Yeah.
Star City, and it's like in Bloodhaven. you know.
Yeah.
But there's also a New York and a Chicago and an LA, you know.
Right.
So it's like, where are they in the world, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
And so I always thought that, you know, Metropolis was New York and Gotham was Detroit, you know, or Chicago and you know, Bloodhaven was Detroit. You know, Central City is, you know, where the Flash is. I was like, I don't know, Phoenix. I don't know, you know.
Yeah,
but they are all over.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. I have visual representation from the Dark Knight trilogy. Here it is.
Oh my God!
Let's get down to business here. Here we go.
Oh no!
This is,
You have a map?
I have a map.
Is that?
That's the whole map. So this is Christopher Nolan's Gotham City. And it looks like New York, you know? Right? Or no, it's Chicago because of the rivers. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a forked river, and they shot all of that here pretty much. But yeah, that does look like New York.
Yeah.
But Gotham can't be New York because that's Metropolis. Like, what's Metropolis then, you know?
I thought Metropolis was like Chicago, you know?
Yeah, I always got a New York vibe from Metropolis.
Yeah, no, Metropolis is like the city, you know, like
Yeah.
If it's a sub-tier, you know, not saying Chicago's a sub-tier city, but you know, we're the largest market, you know, in the country.
Right.
But you know, why would Superman look over the third largest city? Like, he would have to be at the number one city, you know, the largest city.
Yeah.
You know, he's your A-lister.
No. Batman's New York. Let's get that straight.
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna fight over this.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh,
Now, yeah, Gotham is New York, you know,
Okay.
but I honestly think it's New York is. I mean, yeah, it doesn't glimmer and gleam like Metropolis. You know, New York doesn't glimmer and gleam like Metropolis should. But I don't think it's as gritty and grimy as. I mean, not saying Chicago glitters. You know, we've got a beautiful city here, but I think it's I think it's I don't see Gotham as like the largest city in DC Comics. You know, like
I know it as the
Metropolis has got to be bigger than Gotham.
It has to be because Superman, you know, I mean, bigger like a small city. Like, why would he just patrol in a small city? That makes no sense.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah, but let's talk about your time on Chicago Fire, because you had two roles, same role actually, in that you played a.
Well, yeah, kind of. It was so the first that was the second time.
That's all I could find.
Yeah. That was the second time I was on. The first time I was on, it was like, you know, and here's the funny thing is like, you know, it's the polar opposite from my experience with Batman vs Superman, right, or the whole Superman stuff, because I was into it. I never watched an episode of Chicago Fire or Chicago PD or Chicago Med or any, you know, I don't really, you know, but it's such a massive thing in Chicago for actors to have that you can just be on a major television show if you get cast in it. So my first time there was I think it was this was my
There you go.
This was my first this was actually my first appearance like on a set, you know, like with lines and stuff. It was
So this
really
was
cool.
before Batman versus Superman and all that.
Well, I got cast in Man of Steel first, but then I got this, and this was I was on this. Yeah, these they just shoot out, you know. I was on a bridge with a guy. His name was Wacko, and I got to say something about you can't arrest a guy for wearing a banana hammock, you know, on television, which is a lot of fun. But then they brought me back like 3 years later, you know, to be a cop. Now the fun thing is so if you're a cop on Chicago Fire then you're a cop and you live in this world of being a cop. And they'll say, all right, we'll give your agent a call, and they'll say, we need you to check the availability of this actor because we have a cop role coming up, and we just want to. He's already a cop, so we're going to put him back in. They really protect the universe that they've built, right? So they keep everyone the same characters or the same type of characters. If you're a lawyer, you're not going to be like a thug, in the next episode.
You're not gonna. You're not gonna show up a thug and then the next day a doctor.
Yeah, and they keep track of that, which is pretty cool. And I think there's like a 3 or 4 year kind of window. Then after that, you're like, yeah, you can come back and play anything. If you were a day player in this one thing 3 or 4 years ago, you can come back now.
Because you can just add a whole new backstory to them to explain it.
Yeah. So they called me back in and get these calls that are like, agent will call you and see if you're available. And I used to get them like once every 3 weeks or something like that. And so they called me back in to play a cop. Now the funny thing is if you look on my badge, if you look down on my badge, it says Crawford. My last name's Cranford, and I just thought it was really funny that I played Officer Crawford. I was like, pretty dang close, that's pretty awesome. And so whenever I went back, I got back into it. The first thing you do is you go to the costume department. Like I said, like make friends with everyone, make friends with your costume department, because they will have things for you that you didn't necessarily know was out there, right? So I talked to him. I said, yeah, I did this. I was a cop about 3 years ago. What do you guys do with the name tags? And they were like, well, I don't know, we don't really keep them. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I was hoping I could get my old badge back. I was Crawford, and I was like, it'd be cool to just be Crawford again. But they had me as some other guy, random cop, and they were like, really?
Do you remember the random cop's name, or it was?
No, it was in the script of something Riley. I don't know, and so I was like, oh man, that would be so cool if it was Crawford again, because that'd be neat, because I played Crawford, and I'll be Crawford again,
Right.
And then I had my own backstory about, I was like pulled off duty, I was on the desk, and I was like, I gotta get back out there on the force,
Right.
And an accidental discharge. It happened. I got in trouble. The chief was like, "You're gonna sit down at this desk for the next 2 years."
Sure.
And so funny enough, I show back up, and if you look at that name tag, it's Crawford again. And so now I have a character. So 2 appearances, like Officer Crawford, 2 episodes, and they didn't mean for that to happen. But what's crazy is this episode I had. This was actually the most I've done on a TV show. I was in multiple scenes, and they were, I was off scene, and the guys were, Officer Crawford's on the phone. You got to take it,
Yeah.
But they changed the script to match the name, so it wasn't
the
like
episode I watched last night, and I noticed you were heavily involved in the episode, very much in the beginning. Yeah. But that's cool. You gave yourself a recurring role.
Yeah. I was like, guys, I'd if you don't mind, I'd like to be canon here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And you also did work on Better Call Saul, right?
What was that?
Yeah,
like? Oh my God.
that's my abs. I've done. That was so. Now that picture was first before I could even talk about it. So Better Call Saul was like, again, you don't know what you're auditioning for. You were totally enwrapped. You had to be secret about it. And then finally I was like, okay, I know what this is. Once you get it, you know what it is. I auditioned by video camera at my agent's office, which is kind of rare. No casting director involved. The casting director was in Albuquerque. And so I get this part. They fly me to Albuquerque, and they pick me up in a van and take me over to the soundstage where Better Call Saul was taping, which is the same place as Breaking Bad, right? So I'm on location of where Breaking Bad was taped.
Wow.
And it was really funny because they were like, this scene was supposed to take place in Chicago, but what they did is they just brought Chicago actors to Albuquerque. And found an alley in downtown Albuquerque that looked like Chicago. and they painted everything to like there was a street sweeper in my scene. I'm in the finale scene of season 1.
Marco, right?
And yeah. I'm the last Mark of when Marco dies.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler. And so the street sweeper's going by, and it's got like Cook County signs on it. You can't see it because they're filming down the alley, but yeah, we spent a whole night in we were up to like 5 a.m. filming that alley. Wow. And they shot it from every conceivable angle. And so yeah, it was like Bob Odenkirk, me, and Marco on set. Like that was it, 3 actors in an alley. Wow. And so we got a lot of I got so much time just to talk to Bob Odenkirk about everything. I moved to Chicago to do Second City, and he was a Second City guy as well. And so I got to one of my first teachers at Second City was on main stage with him. So it was really kind of cool to connect with that, and just ask him about everything. Ask him about Mr. Show. Asked him about Run Ronnie Run. I asked him about. I got to talk to him about the Ben Stiller show. If you haven't watched Ben Stiller show, I mean, it's an old sketch comedy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Still exists out there. But Andy Dick was in it. It was Jeanine Garofalo, Bob Odenkirk, and Ben Stiller. And it was really funny because I was talking to him. I was like, it's still in my house, like where we do bits about Charlie Manson as Lassie. Like if there's a scene in there where it's just a sketch where it's like Lassie, but instead it's Manson, and he's just like, well, get want to get that to the top. It's like, I'm not in jail, you're in jail.
I love
it. And so, but it's like Lassie, so it's like, what are you trying to tell me, boy? Where's Timmy? Go, you gotta get off the fire pot, Jack. And then. So we I got a chance to be like, yeah, my wife and I still do that like constantly to this day. And he's like, that's hilarious. And so I'll never forget, like I was talking to him about something and I got him like locked in a memory of like, he's like, I haven't thought about that in years. He's like, that was so much fun.
Oh yeah.
God. And then it was like, okay guys, places. And he's like, yeah, okay, all right. And I was like, oh God, what did I do to Bob Odenkirk? I broke him.
He's like, oh crap.
Oh no.
Yeah, but he had just done the day before, he had just done a scene where he was just like screaming and yelling in court. And that show took a lot out of that guy. He took that very seriously. So while we were outside, then we could chat until they got us into position. But like when we went inside while they were setting up and everything, he's just sitting there reading the script for the next day, which you don't see a lot. You don't see a lot of that. Like actors are just sit there and like, I'll get my lines tomorrow,
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. I mean,
yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah, he was just sitting there like memorizing tomorrow's work,
Just straightforward professional.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was so fun to just run lines off of because it was just so natural, and we just
I'm sure he appreciated it too, trying to remember his lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible.
Yeah. That was a lot of fun. I took pictures. You can't really take pictures on set. It's weird if you do. So I take pictures of chairs.
That's all right.
This was the chair that I sat in, just a Better Call Saul in the back of it.
That was amazing.
I did take a picture of this one. This was really funny. This was Lawrence Fishburne. I took a picture of this. This is Clark's chair.
Awesome. Yes.
And I was just like, I'm gonna sit down, and I sat in this chair, and Lawrence looks at me and goes, "Oh, you sitting in the big man's chair?" Like,
oh, is that how we doing it?
Oh
yes,
my God,
I am.
that must have been so cool.
I was like, feels nice.
It feels good. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll become president.
I might. Who knows? So, I actually do have a question. The Better Call Saul. I understand that's a spin-off from Breaking Bad. When you heard of the title, when you heard what the show was going to be about, What was your initial reaction when I heard of a spinoff?
Yeah, where
for
you were-
Breaking Bad, I wasn't sure how to feel about it. Like
I thought it was. I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought they were going to do a, just it was going to be this kind of silly one-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but it's weird because you didn't really know when I was in it. It was so that picture that you pulled up was taken of me on set, and that was the last episode of the whole series.
Wow.
And they didn't release that until they wrapped everything. So I wasn't even supposed to talk about it, and then they showed that picture was one of 10 pictures released, and then I was like, oh, so I guess I can talk about this now. That's Peter Gould, the director, and me and Bob. It was crazy. But yeah, I had no idea. I mean, I so much so it was a lot like the Man of Steel thing. Like I didn't even know who I was acting with. So I got out there and I'm in a scene with someone named Jimmy, and I was like, well, I'm not with Saul. I don't know what that is, but who's Jimmy? And so then I'm in my trailer. Well, not my trailer. They put me in a holding trailer, which is like a giant trailer.
Sure.
Green room.
But I'm going through it, and they show. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look who's playing Jimmy. I want to see who my scene partner is, because it's just me and Jimmy, And then I saw, I was like, oh, that's Bob Odenkirk. I was like, oh my god, what? What? This is crazy. It's really crazy.
That's amazing.
That would have been. Oh my god, that's cool.
It's like I have to assume those moments are similar to watching the lottery numbers on the TV match yours. It's just like what? Like what?
Mm-hmm.
Like those moments you're like, keep going. Like, like that's incredible,
A 4?
man.
You've got a 4 and a 4 and a 4.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, who am I playing this movie? Get the you want to call everybody like, dude, you have no idea what I'm about to do. That's amazing.
Oh man. But did you know that you were gonna work till 5 a.m. on Better Call Saul, or did it just go over?
No, yeah, they just kept doing it. They just kept filming this scene.
That's all right.
It was crazy. Yeah, there was a little trouble that night too, because there was an Insane Clown Posse concert 2 blocks away.
Oh no!
And so when it let out, Juggalos were like everywhere. And so there was a big concern that our set was going to get overrun with Juggalos.
That would have been such a great random moment in the show. Just a group of Juggalos running down the alleyway, just like, what do we do?
Yep.
What do we do?
Film them, keep rolling, roll.
Right. Just go with it.
Turn it into a reality show.
You know what would have been funny? Like let's say they're having a little side meeting, like they're talking to someone, and then they pass by, and they're like, shh, just like, let's just stand here and be quiet and wait for all these Juggalos to pass by, and then we'll continue with the conversation. That would have been great.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, the Zack Snyder's cut is coming out. Are you excited for it? Are you in it?
No.
No, they didn't get a call.
No, I talked to the who was it? He was I think the cinematographer in Batman vs Superman, and I was like, and I keep talking about Pete Ross's future. Pete Ross goes on to marry Lana and become the vice president. I'm just saying. He looks at me and goes, yeah, well, stop aging then. I was like, oh. It's like, because I'm supposed to be the same age as Clark, but I'm 44 now. And,
Sure.
Henry Cavill's, I think, still 28. I have no idea. But,
You better not
be
be 38. You better
yeah.
be
And
38.
so like, yeah, it's not really, we weren't really, I don't know. I just think they had fun with Pete Ross, and they're like, okay, moving on,
Sure.
But yeah, no, they didn't even film it in Chicago, and I'm excited to see Zack Snyder kind of take the reins back. It's sad what happened and why he left the movie. His daughter passed away, and then a year later he's just kind of dealing with a bunch of stuff and walks away from the project. And this was his he was hoping to kind of create this world. He had worked hard on his version of Man of Steel and his version of Superman, and then getting the Trinity together, and then forming the Justice League. It was just kind of like he had gotten so far, and then he had to turn the reins over to Joss Whedon, which at the time, Joss Whedon was a perfect choice. I know Joss Whedon's got some issues now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tragedy what happened. The Vanity Fair article that came out about Zack, it just opened my eyes to the Zack Snyder cut, and it's more than a movie. It's really for Zack, getting justice, the way he was treated, and yeah.
But the thing is like he didn't finish shooting it, so it's like it was finished, but by Joss Whedon, but apparently Joss went back and reshot some stuff. So there's some stuff that maybe had more of Zack Snyder's vision on it. But that being said, like, Zack Snyder did Batman vs Superman in that cut, and it's like there's still like just some weird stuff. It's like just because it's his cut doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, and it's not going to save the day. It's going to be.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
I'm excited to see it, and I'm excited to see where he takes it and where it goes from there. But I know that Henry's walked away from it. Ben Affleck isn't going to do Batman again, and it's like, and they've already got a new Batman, and then they've got Harley Quinn and doing the Birds of Prey stuff that doesn't tie in, and this Joker movie does not tie in at all. But they're all like Warner Brothers, so that's all under the same DC umbrella. And it's like, what story are we telling now? And like the fact that there's like an Aquaman movie coming out, it's like, well, to what end? It's like if they finished the Avengers and then they're like, they are still going. They're going to tell the next story. They're going to tell Secret Invasion. They're going to keep going with where the comic books went.
I think, if I have to predict, I think their plan is the Flash movie. They're going to try to like morph everything together.
Yeah, like Robert Pattinson's Batman now and whoever.
Well,
else.
if they do a Flashpoint, if they do Flashpoint in the Flash, but that's hoping that they'll go to source material. Yeah. Which DC doesn't do a lot of. No, they don't. They don't go to.
Weird. There's only two major major is DC and Marvel.
DV's,
you know what I mean?
DC
like,
Marvel,
like,
and then, like
you have
Image
so much room to do what works, and it's so weird that Marvel knows to go over the source material, but DC is like, we'll cherry pick.
Choose any one of these. Any one of these books would be a fantastic movie.
Yeah,
any of them.
It's laid out too.
Batman
like,
Year
look
One.
at this. Like, it's
Batman
laid out like a
Halloween.
storyboard. You don't even have to do all this work. Look, splash page after splash page.
Brilliant.
Like,
And that's what Marvel does. Like Marvel, I love this about the movies. Is like when they're fighting each other in Civil War, they do a splash page.
Yeah.
Like they're all just like, and then
the shield and Iron Man blaster, like that iconic image, that was straight out of the comics.
Right. You can put that's the great thing about it. You should be able to. Oh my gosh!
Exactly. That's the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not so much as seeing the characters on the screen, and it is a little bit of that. It's like when you first see Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman together on screen, there is a little bit of that, but I think it's better to see their stories, those stories that you've read so many times, like come to life.
Exactly.
It's one thing for the character, but I honestly think without the emotion of the story, and we all know where the story's going because but how many books are made into movies? The ending, but you're still going to go and watch it anyways.
Yeah.
So, and that was the thing with WandaVision too. I said to my mother, I said, even if we see it coming, it's that satisfaction that we crave. That's what we want to see. Yeah, and with DC, I think they're just taking stuff and they'll be like, oh, the fans like this, and it just misinterprets it, and they're just kind of like,
cherry picking.
It's not that hard. It really isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you almost feel like they try to put too much in one film. I remember in BvS, the Robin suit, when they showed us that.
Yeah.
I liked it to a point, but then I realized like there's so much behind that story.
Honestly, that's what they should have opened.
Just by showing it for a few seconds, like, yeah, we know what it means.
Yeah.
But
You're talking about the
else,
Jason,
going,
the
why
Jason
is this man
Todd suit,
staring
right?
at
Yeah, Jason with the haha
Jason
and
Todd
Yeah.
suit, yep.
spear.
Yep.
like that could have been saved for another monumental
Right.
moment, but that was just
Honestly, I think that's what they should have opened the movie with instead of the Martha scene. Of
something.
The alleyway, you know?
because we all know
But-
that.
And this is the thing. This is the thing too. Is like in that movie, and it's fresh for me because I watched it last night. You don't get to see Superman be the hero of Metropolis.
Right.
Like you never get to see him like in his prime, just saving the day, where everyone is just really happy to see him. It's at the end of Man of Steel. He shows up and he destroys Metropolis, and everyone's like, "Do we need this savior?" And then it's automatically we see him where people are already getting tired of him and they're ready to hang him, and you know they're just like, he's too much of a god, and we have to stop the god.
Yeah.
And it's like there is a time where he saves the day. He's getting kittens out of trees, you know, and he loves the police department, the fire department. You know, he's everyone's savior, but we never get to
Clark
see that.
Kent. Yeah.
And same thing with Batman is like they're just assuming we know Batman, and it's
Right.
like, you know, and if you assume that I know Batman, then why take the time with the origin story? Why take the time with the pearls and the shooting with the Joe Chill thing, and then just skip over Batman being a savior, and just immediately he's shooting people and running.
Right.
into-
We did it.
Yeah.
They showed the Robin suit, in that we're supposed to assume that that's what he is traumatized and goes to the line, right? He walks up to the
Yeah.
line, and then he gets pulled back to his humanity through Martha, which is still crazy to me.
Yeah, I still find it crazy, the one part where he's going to save Martha, but we've talked about Batman using the gun, and the way he saves Martha is by shooting. Like, he has perfect aim with his left hand. Like, he's just like, I got it. And I'm just like, the whole time I'm seeing that, it's like, number one, Batman is known for not using a gun, and for how smooth he was comfortable aiming that and shooting it, I was just like, it's not Batman. It's not him.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
I like-
he doesn't go to the trigger.
we were watching
gets
it.
shaky
We were watching
at
it
the
last
trigger.
night, and it was like, he's like, yeah, I don't shoot him. I don't shoot people. I roll them over with my car. I don't shoot anyone. What are you talking about? I just drive
they
through them
blow
and
up,
make
that's
them
on them.
explode. I didn't shoot him.
Right.
Right.
You know, like I grapple a car and throw it on top of him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean
gun.
he definitely murders
Yeah.
in this movie.
He
There's
murders
no
a
way
lot of
around it.
people in that movie.
Yeah.
I mean, even the 89 movie, I mean, yes, but, like, yeah, it's not that. Batman v Superman, it's clear as day that,
Yeah.
there's no way nobody would survive that.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
There's a lot of that. And so, have you seen there's a cartoon called How It Should Have Ended?
Yeah, I love that show.
seen that? I
So
haven't seen that.
they do the Superman movie on How It Should Have Ended when Lex Luthor says you've got to, there's no way you can find both missiles. So
Oh, yeah.
you've got to make your choice, and then just a drawing of like Superman going. You mean these two missiles? Are these the two missiles?
Yeah,
you're
are
talking
these the
about?
missiles
I mean, I
you're
looked around the
talking
world.
about?
I flew around the globe like 5 times, and these are the only two missiles I could find. Are these the ones you're like, oh, that's so bad? So
is this the my mom, the woman you were planning on killing?
the one-
that you were
so
threatening
all-
it? Is this her?
So yeah, it cuts over to Martha, right? And we all know Superman can like it's established in the movie that Lois is in trouble somewhere in the desert, and Superman's like, oh, I got you, boom, and just flies in and saves her, right?
Yeah.
So it is given that he can sense, he can hear the distress, you know. In the comics, all she has to do is go, "Bye, Clark, miss you," you know, and he's like up in space going, "Got you, boo," you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he can hear everything. They do it in the thing where she's boom, boom, boom under the ice, you know, or under the heavy stuff in the water.
Yeah.
Right.
And so all Martha would do, all she would need to do is, she's not gagged or anything. She's just held, and all she do is just go, "Clark, I'm over here.
Yeah,
And poof,
Clark, come get me whenever you're ready.
Clark, whenever you're ready, I'm here. And they would all be like, "What are you talking about?" And then, poof,
Yeah.
If you don't think he can hear his mother's voice through
Yeah.
all, and they even talk about this in Man of Steel, like he learned to focus, because he's hearing everything. And there's a shot where he just goes up. It's my favorite shot of Man of Steel. I love it, where he goes up and he's just like over the earth, and he can it's all there and he can hear it and see it all.
Such a cool.
And it's
moment.
like. And so they've established that he is that hero. He can do this. These are within his powers, and yet, he can't save Martha. Batman can somehow find her, but Superman, no.
It's because of the cape, right? It's because they both have capes. Clearly, that's why.
No, for sure.
I thought for sure it should have been like. Yeah, definitely that moment of you mean this mom that I just saved? I can't find her. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was so funny. I've thought of those moments all the time, but it's like it's like those heavy spoilers.
Yeah.
If you hype yourself up too much, you're automatically let down. But then at some point you gotta just realize like, look, I'm not in control of this movie. I don't make the decisions. I gotta be grateful for what I get. But when they miss the dunks on the most obvious stuff, you go, dude, how am I not working on this movie right now?
They're really messing up the morals and the core of the characters.
Well,
when they mess with the origin of Superman and he doesn't I'd like to hear your take on this.
Sure.
Superman kills someone at the end. Superman kills Zod.
Zod, great.
What was your take on Superman killing?
I'll let you go first.
I think it should have been better set up. Now, Zod is from Krypton, and I don't know if that was a thing of like Krypton's dead, type of thing where it's over. He doesn't want anything to do with Krypton. He's going to be, person of Earth now, But Superman killing, to have that now, maybe if it was like the 5th movie, maybe if it was told just right, where it really had to be so heavy that the emotion led to killing. But I didn't think that Zod needed to die. Doomsday, on the other hand, yes, that's clear that this dude's gonna destroy the entire planet. If I don't kill him, then that's it, Superman can take that burden.
I agree with you.
But Batman, if Batman takes that burden, of having somebody's death, he's no longer what he stands for, I think Superman has that little gap that even if he takes that burden of death, he can still be Superman. But I didn't think that the situation called for Zod to die.
And here's the thing. I'll just say this. That exact moment of him, the laser eyes, him in the chokehold, and he's trying not to, number one, that family could have ran. They could have ran. I don't know why they were just standing there. They were in the corner. They could have just went left. I get it, but at the same time, you try to be like, okay, look, if somebody literally had lasers coming out of their eyes, would I be kind of like shaking in my boots? Like, would I have the courage to run? I don't know.
And here's the thought.
But also, he didn't really have to kill him. He didn't have to snap his neck right there. He could have flown him off into the sky. There's so many different ways, but you have the excuse of in the moment fight or flight.
Right.
I probably would have made the same call.
The same call?
Only because look, it's just in the moment, you have seconds to make a decision. No, I know. All I'm saying is this: it's like you don't plan on that kind of stuff happening. I just try to justify stuff that is concrete in movies, and the only way I can justify that is that he was just like, it's either now or never, and he just made a decision.
Now, here's the thought.
My thought on that is. So, and you said it, Eli. You said, but he's Superman. Not yet. Not yet. He's not.
Okay.
Like we're dealing with so much of an origin. This is his first real test. His first real big fight.
True.
And so I kind of have this feeling like, okay, Superman always finds another way. That's why the Phantom Zone exists.
The Phantom Zone.
You put him in that. there's always another way. It doesn't have to end with death, right? It could be rehabilitation. It could be all kinds of stuff. But that's the hero within him, and he makes those choices to never kill. What I thought was interesting about this, and this isn't weird. So like I know that you shouldn't kill people, and I don't have to kill someone to know I shouldn't kill.
Right.
You know, I kill someone and goes, well, that felt really weird. I shouldn't do that. But I'm not a god. I'm not Superman. I don't have these infinite powers. And I think with him fighting something that has infinite powers as well, and he's like faced with no other alternative, that he makes this decision to stop it, to kill it. Right? I don't know what else to do.
Right.
Because he's not there yet.
You could
Like
just
as
easily
a
taken
hero.
his hands and put it over.
What? No, stop it.
Yeah.
No.
And I think that moment helped define where the character can go and say, I don't kill anymore because I have done that.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I know
that's
how it
interesting.
feels.
And so that is another kind of evolution in the character of that. Now, like I said, like you and I, we don't have to do that because the moral code of us is, let
It's
somebody else
obvious.
deal.
Right.
With a superpowered, entity like that, where it was part of his, like, he's not Superman yet. He's learning what it is to be a hero. He's learning what it is. He doesn't know that I can just take him up and I should fly him out to safety,
Right.
Right.
He's writing it as he's telling it, basically.
Yeah.
And something else too. It's like you were talking about his like infinite power. The temptation of like for Superman, I know he said out loud, he's like, one of my biggest fears is breaking someone. Like he feels like he lives in a world made of cardboard. He's that kind of strong. And when you're facing people that you easily overpower, it's a lot easier to find another way. You know what I mean? But when you find somebody that even with all your power, you can't put a dent in this man, and then that moment comes up, I don't know how you can not think of that. You know what I mean? Kill it or let it kill you. You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't know. Honestly,
do you know what I mean? Like, do you know how I'm coming off? Like, just that knowing you're powerless, even though you have all the power. Like, the decisions you make in those kind of moments where it's like, I need to make a decision now, or I'm screwed in the future. Like, you make some crazy decisions when you're putting those kind of
he's supposed to have a really smart intellect too.
Yeah. Well, going off what Joey said earlier.
I know Joey makes
him being
good
new
point.
as Superman. This is his first strong man fight.
Right.
So, even with all of his experience, he knows he can't stop him just with brute force. And he even said, Zod said in it, he said, you either gotta kill me or I kill you. Like, I'm not going to stop. Like, he made it very clear. So, again, I would have made the same decision.
Maybe if he wasn't in the suit, what if the whole movie was Superman not in the suit yet, and then by the end,
No, you would have upset every nerd everywhere on the planet if you had to wait until the second to see him in that suit. I mean, look how long Smallville lasted.
Yeah.
And this is what we got. We got the Blur.
Yeah, the Blur. That's right. We did get the Blur. I remember that. Oh, I remember the Flash.
It took
nine
9 seasons before he put the suit on, and that was in the last second, of the movie.
Well,
Sorry,
we're coming
Tom.
up to our last 10 minutes here.
10 minutes,
do we want to give the audience here any time for questions?
Oh yeah, we got time for questions. You got time for questions?
Let's see.
There was one by Weekends with Jillian. Did you know that there's an entire chapter devoted to you in the book of
The Damned?
Yeah.
Yeah, in WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yeah, that's a quote from WandaVision.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did you think that was a question for
Superman,
Joey?
why is
There better not be.
Right.
Joey?
Hey, Joey, did you know you were in the Book of the Damned?
I have that episode. It's right here.
Your superhero of choice?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Some people are saying that they want Henry Cavill to stay as Superman. Do you feel the same way, or do you kind of have your eyes on someone else?
No, I think. I mean, if they're pulling together a larger story, it'd be like recasting Iron Man, you know, in the
Absolutely.
middle of all this stuff. He's not the best Superman, but he is the he's not the Superman we need, but he's the Superman we deserve. You know,
I love it.
He's,
Great answer.
He's the Superman that is in Justice League. We've watched him grow up. We've watched him die. We've watched him come back. So it's like
he is Superman. Like he's done...
Superman right now. You know,
yeah,
and
that's true.
You know, it's you know in Chicago we had Jay Cutler as our quarterback.
Oh yeah.
We hated him. We all hated him, but he was our quarterback, and that's what we got. You know,
I understand.
So he is, you know, Henry Cavill is our Superman right now. So to recast it while they're staying on this same path. If you're going to keep the same Flash, you're going to keep Gal Gadot, you're going to keep everybody the same.
You got to keep everyone the same. That's true. I mean, you have the excuse for Flashpoint, but let's be honest, that's a lazy way of doing it. That's just an easy eraser to the pencil. Yeah. You know.
I mean, but that's why they do that. That's why the books do it. So, you know, I'm okay with that because I mean, the comic books will do these crises to reverse time and start over to say, yeah, no, Superman doesn't have a kid. He's never married Lois, and so now here we are. You know,
right? Yeah.
I think that's within the bounds of DC to be able to do. You know, I mean, Flashpoint doesn't necessarily do that much. I mean, it changes when you go into the second Flashpoint world. Yeah, but you do want to come back. You know, if there's some kind of crisis in time or some kind of crisis event that does change, or you meet, you know, a different Earth version coming together, you know, you know, then I think it's within the rights of the story to have different actors, you know. And to see a crisis on from DC would be like, thank you. Like, that's all. You just go to source material, man. It's there for you.
And now there's been talk from the fans that they want to see a Superman movie take place on a different Earth. Now, do you feel the same way, or do you think he should just stay in Metropolis?
Well, if you're going to a different Earth, then there would be a Metropolis there.
Right.
So it's like, do you just want to see Earth 2 Superman? You know.
Oh, I'm talking like out of planet, like a different planet, not a parallel.
Earth 2, so like another planet in the
same universe, same Earth, but
I mean,
planet.
Yeah, he doesn't. I would, if that's going to happen, I would want to see it with like the New Gods.
Sure.
I want to see it on like Apocalypse, and you know, dealing with the dark side stuff and dealing with Orion and some of the just all the Jack Kirby stuff. I think that would be cool. Yeah. But you know, Superman just doesn't go to Mars. You know, doesn't go to alien worlds. He's not that superhero. You know.
What villain do you want to see him up against? Like Henry Cavill's Superman. Which villain do you think would pair best with Henry Cavill?
Like a Brainiac would be awesome.
Oh God, Brainiac. Yeah, he was in Krypton, the show.
Yeah, did you watch Krypton?
When was that?
That was a while ago. Not too long.
Yeah, it was. I think it was on Sci-Fi, and it was like way after, like this dude had to go back in time to save Superman, and it lasted 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Yeah, there you go.
I mean, one of my favorite story arcs is the bottle of the Kandor, the bottle city, and you meet Mon-El.
Yeah.
And then there's like the new Krypton is, you know, they create new Krypton, which is like a little planet that then orbits the other side of Earth. So you have the moon and then Krypton.
Yeah. Sure.
And then all the people from Kandor get, you know, they're brought to life, and they all have superpowers and stuff. And so now it's like, you know, it's just crazy. But
honestly, I think that would be a great movie for Zack to direct. You know, he has those like, he's always saying like, these guys are gods, and to have. Do you think he would be good directing that?
I don't know. I don't know that he would stick to the
right. Yeah,
stick to the material. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last thing I'll say on here, because I know we got like 5 or 4 minutes left. We have a comment on here from Rogue Gothamite 98. he says that he would love to see a Pete Ross movie, which I think would be brilliant.
So would I. I'd love it.
Like exactly from the comics. You marry Lona. I almost messed up her name. Lana Lane. Lana Lane.
Yeah.
And maybe some Superman in the background, just kind of you stand there on the porch with your coffee, like, go get him, Clark. You know what I'm saying? Like little shout outs. I think that'd be great.
That would be, it's kind of what I was hoping was going to happen. There's a series called Gotham Central in the books, and it takes place in Gotham, and it's the police department. It's the police department, and in the background you see Batman a few times, but
I should read that. That sounds like fun.
It is amazing. There's like 5 books of it, and it's all just about Gotham Police Department. It's the kind of origin of Renee Montoya, who later becomes the Question, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
wow.
but Renee
that's
Montoya's
Renee Montoya is the Question?
Yeah, she becomes the Question in 52.
That's so awesome.
But they talk about Renee Montoya. They talk like it's just all of it's a police procedural, but it's in Gotham, and they hate Batman. They all hate him because he comes in and he's
basically doing
these are the clues you're looking for. Here's the bad guy, and it's like we were so close.
Right, like that's literally our one job, dude.
Yeah, but it is that cool story of taking because you always see like the police are doing something in Gotham, but it's always Batman doing it.
Yeah, it's always afterwards.
This is kind of flipping that mirror around to show what life is like for these policemen in Gotham when you have this vigilante who's taking crime into his own hands, and it's like, what are we even here for?
Seriously, like we're just here to mop up the mess, basically.
So that would that's kind of like the Pete Ross movie is like he's just that background character is
Why is he here?
I want to know what happened if I got fired from IHOP,
Oh no.
Sorry, Pete.
I
We're
hope
letting
not.
you go. It's just
it's like it's not my fault. My friend wrecked the place, but
You know what I mean? Like I barely know the guy.
Pete, you're gonna have to pay for this damage. It's coming out of your
man.
salary.
That would be horrible. But anyways, Joey, it was so awesome having you on here,
It's
man.
been awesome, amazing. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man, this was a lot of fun, and good luck with everything. This is fun.
Thank you so
man.
much.
Thanks.
Please watch our show as much as you want and comment and say hi if you want. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch. Do you have any shameless plugs? I know you have Chicago Magic Lounge in Chicago.
Yeah. I've stopped. I've pretty much stopped acting to run the Chicago Magic Lounge.
That's amazing.
We've got it's a multi-million-dollar project. During COVID, we've been shut down for about a year.
No.
So we're doing virtual shows as well. So if you go to ChicagoMagicLounge.com or follow us on Facebook, you'll see some of the best talent in Magic. But we bring them virtually to audiences everywhere. But we will be open again later this year. So we're doing, we're repainting everything, we're polishing everything up. So we'll have a grand opening. But yeah, it's a premier spot in Chicago for Magic. We've gotten so much press and won awards here and there, and so it's just been been amazing.
I've seen I haven't been to the new location, but I've seen the pictures and it looks amazing. It has this like Art Deco 1940s type vibe and just amazing magic. You guys have to check it out. I'll put a link in the description.
Yes.
Congrats on that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's our focus these days.
That's great. But hopefully we'll see his Pete Ross again. Maybe.
Yes.
crossed.
Keep calling Zach. Just blow up his phone. We will
dude,
watch
Pete
the
Ross,
movie.
just wait and put me in, coach. Like, let's do this.
Hashtag release the Pete Ross cut.
That's my name for the director's cut of the Ultimate Edition. It's like Batman vs Superman, Pete Ross edition.
Pete Ross
I love it.
I think that'd be great.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Joey, for joining us this morning.
Yep.
You have a great rest of your day.
Thanks.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right, Joey.
See you guys.
See ya.
See you later. Adios. Arrivederci. Ciao. cut. There we go. Superhero Sundays, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification so you never miss another episode. Like I said, we do this every single Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us this Sunday. Matt, any closing words for today?
I am inspired and ready to go for the next day. May
Yes.
the future be bold.
Yes, and we are pumped for the Snyder Cut. I hope you guys are too. Yeah, you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll see everybody in the next episode. Peace.
That was really good.
It was great.
My throat dried up.